What's up, guys, and welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode 79. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason, and unfortunately, I am not joined by Travis today. This is another solo operation, as Travis is still on vacation. He's playing the real life Red Dead Redemption 2 right now, up in the American Northwest with some of his family. So it's just me that you're getting this week, and I am going to bring you all of the news from the last couple of weeks, actually, since we haven't recorded an episode since before Christmas, the Christmas holiday. So you're stuck with me today, and we'll get through it together, don't worry. But I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, and it's now the new year, 2022, so hopefully it gets a little bit better than the last couple of years, but I do wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We celebrated both holidays, and it's been good on my end, and made a couple of big moves, bought a new couch and things like that for the house, so it's been exciting. Anyway, for the noobs or the uninitiated here on the show, we are a weekly podcast where we get together each and every week to discuss all of the news, rumors, new games, and much more in the world of PlayStation, and we do it all in under 90 minutes. We post new episodes every Monday on all of the usual podcast services around the world, as well as YouTube if you prefer to listen to your episodes there. And also on YouTube, we post game streams and clips, which we've been doing quite a bit lately. Been posting Insurgency Sandstorm, Death's Door, Chivalry 2, the Matrix demo, all kinds of things, all kinds of cool stuff. So check that out if you're interested in watching a little bit of gameplay. We try to keep it less than 30 minutes and sometimes much less than that, just so it's digestible for you. Maybe something you can watch on your lunch break at work or on the John if you're having a hard time taking a poop, that sort of thing. Also, if you want to reach out to us on social media, we're there as well on all the usual suspects, like Twitter, where we're very active, and I am tweeting quite often. So I would love to hear from you there and talk PlayStation with you guys. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook, if you please. And we also have a blog called thedulsenspodcast.wordpress.co. So find us wherever you please. Let's talk. Now, without further ado, let's jump into a light couple of weeks of news here, but some things to talk about nonetheless. Here we go. Number one, Sony announced their 2021 PlayStation Blog Game of the Year award winners the week of Christmas. These are 100% fan-voted awards, which are pretty cool, and they're really just for funsies, but here they are. Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil Village won Best New Character. Resident Evil Village won Best Story. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart won Best Art Direction. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy won Best Soundtrack. It Takes Two won Best Multiplayer Experience. FIFA 22 or FIFA 22 won Best Sports Game. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut won Best Accessibility Features. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart won Best Use of the DualSense. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart also won Best Graphical Showcase. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut won Best Re-Release. Kena Bridge of Spirits won Indie Game of the Year. Hitman 3 won PSVR Game of the Year. Resident Evil Village won PS4 Game of the Year. Ratchet & Clank won PS5 Game of the Year. And Insomniac Games won Studio of the Year. So fans are loving Insomniac and specifically Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart quite a bit this year. Rightfully so. It is a very good game. I'm not as high on it as others are, but no doubt that it is a great showcase graphically and from a DualSense standpoint for the PS5, and the art direction is very beautiful, so I think that's all deserving. As far as PS5 Game of the Year, I don't know about that. But it's not like there's a terrible lot to pick from in terms of exclusive experiences this year. Well, let's see if anything else stands out here to me. FIFA 22 winning Best Sports Game, not really surprising. That's always the best-selling sports game of the year, so that's kind of by default. But NBA 2K22 was a very good game as well. And then, of course, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy wins Best Soundtrack after including all that epic licensed 80s music. So I still haven't played that game. I might one day when it's on a deep sell. I don't know. All right. Number 2. Axios reported that Ubisoft is hemorrhaging talent at a rapid pace amidst the ongoing scandals and management misconduct. Internally, employees are referring to the departures as the quote-unquote Great Exodus and the cut artery, according to Axios sources. At least 5 of the most credited Far Cry 6 developers and 12 Assassin's Creed Valhalla's senior developers have departed Ubisoft. Axios also reported that in the last 6 months, at least 60 mid to lower level staff have also left the company. One developer who spoke anonymously said that the departures have, quote, slowed down and stalled projects, prompting teams to reach out beyond their usual circles for help, end quote. So this isn't a huge surprise after all the turmoil that Ubisoft is going through right now. And really, it's amazing how tone deaf some of the senior level executives are still remaining on this. You hear things that they're saying publicly like, oh, we're working on it, or oh, we got rid of the bad apples, or, oh, we're on the right track, and basically saying, hey, we fixed it, it's over with type of thing. That's obviously not the case, and it's obvious that their employees are not happy or excited about the direction that they're going in terms of, not with the games necessarily, although there's some of that too, as we've talked about on the show before, but more so just the culture and the environment at the company. And it's sad, no one should have to work in an environment where they're supervised or work with shitheads or, people who are just awful in general. Hopefully Ubisoft starts to take things a little bit more seriously. And if not, it looks like they'll just continue to bleed talent from all of their various teams. And I think from strictly a gamer standpoint, that's scary for us because, me personally, I do not like the direction that some of Ubisoft's games are going, like Assassin's Creed, for instance. I don't know. So we'll see how it goes, but Ubisoft is losing quite a bit of their staff here in the last year because of all their shenanigans, and they're not doing or saying all the right things at the moment to stop that in any way, it seems. Number 3, Final Fantasy XVI producer Naoki Yoshida released a letter to fans apologizing for the lack of news regarding the title, which had been promised by the end of 2021, in terms of news anyway. Yoshida revealed that the game has been delayed by at least 6 months due to the pandemic, which led to a decentralized global workforce that resulted in communication issues and missed deadlines. As a result, the next quote-unquote big reveal for Final Fantasy XVI is scheduled for sometime this coming spring. So this was a little bit of a gut punch for Final Fantasy fans, obviously. That game is going to be a PS5 exclusive, at least for some time. And people are super hyped about this, It's going to be a big one for PS5, and it had been a while since we had heard anything at all about it. And, we just kind of assumed that they had gone dark. They were working on the game, but obviously we now know that COVID got the best of them as well. And I think that even though working remotely is a good thing, and if teams and developers and publishers can figure out the right way to do that, I think that would be awesome for their staff. But it's clear that not having that face-to-face interaction where, if I'm working on something and I have a question or I need to run something by somebody or just whatever, bounce something off someone, instead of just being able to get up from my desk or my cubicle and go around the corner and talk to whoever, now I have to try to get them on FaceTime. I have to try and get them to reply to a text, to an email, to Skype, to whatever. And, you can imagine, I'm sure as most of you can who've been doing that stuff during the pandemic, there's sometimes, that obviously can lead to communication issues and, missed communication and that sort of thing. And it obviously face-to-face direct communication is the most clear and concise form of communication that we have. And so that all makes sense and that checks out. And we've heard other developers say similar things, that the communication has really hurt them, especially cross-functionally within their teams. So maybe 2022 will allow them to get back to the way they were. And but I think this partially puts the game in jeopardy to not make it in 2022. I mean, they've been delayed by 6 months. So I don't know. We'll have to see how things continue to shape up with the pandemic and how it relates to working conditions. Number 4, Sony officially revealed the January PlayStation Plus lineup, which per usual had leaked prior. It's a fantastic month featuring 1 to 4 player cooperative first person shooter spelunking game Deep Rock Galactic for both PS5 and PS4. Also included are developer Codemasters arcade off-road racer Dirt 5 for both PS5 and PS4 as well. And finally, JRPG Persona 5 Strikers rounds out the list. For the year, PlayStation Plus gave out 40 games with an average Metacritic score of 73.8, an average age of 1.4 years old, and a total retail value of more than $1,400 US. So, overall, a very solid year for Plus. Great value as always. And I feel like it's really been quite good this year, especially since we've started getting PS5 games mixed in. They've really done quite a good job. We've only had maybe 1 or 2 stinkers in there, if you can even say that. As far as the games for January, I cannot even begin to tell you guys how stoked I am for Deep Rock Galactic. I played it for just a little bit on Game Pass on PC, and I was really digging it. And so now that I can play with Travis and some other friends on PS5 is going to be fantastic. And don't sleep on that game. You may see it, hear about it, and like, what the hell is this? You may even watch a trailer about it and you're like, nah, just try it. Just try it out. Trust me. Also predicted that was going to be a January game back on like December the 13th when they announced that they were coming to PlayStation, because there's you can pretty much figure out now there's a formula for these types of PlayStation Plus games. The formula is the game gets announced 3 to 4 weeks before PlayStation Plus titles come out. They don't announce a release date. There is no PlayStation Store page, or if there is, there's no ability to pre-order. So those are just red flags to look for whenever they announce potential PlayStation Plus games. So anyway, what else here? Dirt 5. I enjoyed Dirt 5 for a little while, and then I got bored with it. It kind of got samey for me. Felt like every race, everything I was doing was the same. But I will say that game, at the very least, is worth checking out for the DualSense implementation for a racing game. Really cool how they worked that in and how they tuned that. And then I'm not going to play it, but I do appreciate and understand that Persona 5 Strikers is a big game as well. So this is a fantastic month. 2 PS5 games, which is phenomenal. There's 2 AAA games, and then a very much highly regarded indie game. So very, very good month. Number 5, we also have a bunch of news nuggets here as well. Like I said, we're just chugging along here. Not a big couple of weeks, obviously, with the holidays, but some things that you guys should know. Here we go with the news nuggets. First nugget, NFL legend and Hall of Fame coach John Madden, the namesake of the Madden NFL franchise, passed away this week at the age of 85, following a successful coaching career in which he won the 1977 Super Bowl. He went on to become a legendary football broadcaster, which led to him becoming the face of the Electronic Arts American football game for decades. R.I.P. to John Madden, and also R.I.P. to Betty White, who passed away on New Year's Eve here in America at the age of 99. She was just a few weeks away from turning 100 on January the 17th. And of course, 2021 had to take one more, and of course, it would be Betty White. It was very odd that she passed away on New Year's Eve. But one thing about her age, everyone's kind of making a big deal about her not making it to 100, but I saw a neat, if you can call it neat, fact about her life, and that she lived through 24 leap years, which means that her body had 24 extra days, so she technically was 100, if you want to look at it that way. Anyway, RIP to both of those. Next nugget, Game Informer shared their Bully 2 piece, which turned out to be a deep dive on the Bully sequel, which was in development at Rockstar New England and was canceled. So much for that. No sequel in development, as once rumored, as far as we know. Also, more media outlets shared their end-of-the-year game awards the week of Christmas, including PlayStation Universe, who selected Returnal as their overall game of the year. Other interesting selections were Insurgency Sandstorm as their best first-person shooter. It's a fantastic game. Hot Wheels Unleashed as their best racing game. Interested in trying that out at some point. And Ratchet & Clank as their best platformer. Is Ratchet & Clank a platformer? I don't know about that. I guess, in a way, sometimes. Next nugget, the Game Awards announced that viewership for the 2021 show hit 85 million live streams, an increase of 2% year over year. The show hit 1.75 million hours watched on its official YouTube stream, which was up 14% from last year. Roguelike game Hades won the very first Hugo Award for Best Video Game of 2020. The Hugos are awarded at the World Science Fiction Convention each year. So there's that. Website How Long to Beat revealed that Resident Evil Village was the most completed game of 2021, while Returnal was one of the most abandoned games of the year. Website Push Square reported that She-Hulk appears to be the next playable character coming to Marvel's Avengers. An insider who previously leaked actor Christopher Judge's involvement in the Black Panther DLC has now stated that actress Krizia Bajos, I don't know if I probably butchered that, will voice She-Hulk. It's worth noting that a She-Hulk television series is imminent for Disney's streaming service, Disney+. Square Enix and Sony are now allowing players who redeemed Final Fantasy VII Remake via PlayStation Plus several months back to now upgrade to the PS5 version of the game for free after charging an upgrade fee for the past 6 months. So it's nice of them to do that, even though it's 6 months late. So it really stinks for the people who went ahead and bought the upgrade fee. That's just typical kind of Sony bullshit. Like, did they always plan to do it 6 months? Because that seems like, an even number. Or, did they? I don't know. It just seems miscalculated and misguided. Also, Star Wars Boba Fett came to Fortnite as a playable character on Christmas Day, if you're interested. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that PlayStation second-party studio Deviation Games will begin full production next year on their new, quote, groundbreaking AAA IP, end quote. After spending last year building the studio from 15 employees to its current total of over 100 staff. Very interested to see what they are working on. Guillermo del Toro clarified that his Silent Hill reference at the Game Awards was simply a jab at Konami and that he will not be working on a game project. So, allegedly, we'll see. Action RPG Weird West has been delayed once again from January to March to iron out bugs. The Wolf Among Us 2 is currently in full production. Developer at Telltale Games told a Game Informer. So, just a little reassurance for you all. Publisher Electronic Arts canceled a once-in-development Harry Potter MMO because executives did not believe that the IP would last longer than 1 or 2 years. That was a massive mistake. Twitter handle PlayStation Game Size revealed that Elden Ring will weigh in at 45 gigabytes on PS5 without the Day 1 patch, while Horizon Forbidden West will take up a massive 96 gigabytes. Preloading for Elden Ring starts on February 23rd, and for Horizon on February 11th. Also, Horizon Zero Dawn will be a part of LEGO's rumored upcoming gaming collection, according to a German retailer listing. A new trailer for the Uncharted movie released over the holiday, if you're interested, and it actually looks pretty badass. So, I'm actually pretty excited about the movie. I hope they can pull it off, but looking forward to seeing it. Embracer Group was up to their usual stuff over Christmas as well, acquiring a new batch of developers, including Neverwinter and Star Trek Online developer Perfect World Entertainment, support studio Shiver Entertainment, Hungarian animation studio Digic, leading German video-on-demand company Spot Film Networks, and Dark Horse Media, which owns over 300 IPs, including The Mask, Time Cop, and Ghost, among many, many others. Ubisoft's technical director Didier Genevois has stated that players will eventually accept NFTs with time as long as Ubisoft sticks by its principles. That's such a joke to even say something like that, to be like, you might feel that way, but like, don't say that. It just makes you look out of touch, because literally nobody is asking for NFTs, and you come out and say that. You should just shut up. But I did tweet, and I do believe this. I feel like, for better or worse, that we're inevitably headed down a road that includes NFTs in games, much like microtransactions in games, and much like $70 games instead of $60 games. So it's inevitably going to happen, unfortunately. Ubisoft also stated that they are, quote unquote, looking into adding 60 frames per second support for Assassin's Creed Origins. It's kind of neat. Riot Games, the developers of League of Legends and Valorant, settled their sexual harassment lawsuit for $100 million over Christmas, with $80 million going directly to affected current and former employees. Splitgate developer 1047 Games revealed that more than 15 million players downloaded the game in 2021, promised big news in 2022, including as early as January. God of War Ragnarok seems to have received its first age rating from none other than the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, although it is unclear if it's legit at the moment. Elsewhere, a placeholder release date for September 30th was found in the PSN backend for the game, most likely indicating a third quarter release. So I think the third quarter release checks out. I actually thought it would be like October, which would be the first month of the fourth quarter, but September also makes a lot of sense to me. I think that is when we'll see Ragnarok. We'll get it in September, and then I think we may have one more game in store for the end of the year from Sony, but maybe not. Maybe because typically they don't do that. It just feels like we have a lot that we don't know about, So it feels like there's something coming in the fourth quarter. But typically, they don't do that. Typically, they'll have first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and then they usually leave the fourth quarter to the big third-party games like Call of Duty, like Battlefield, so on and so forth. So we may just be getting back to that cadence. But it's still, again, it feels like at some point with all these acquisitions, and we've got studios working on multiple projects now, like Naughty Dog and Insomniac and so on, that feels like the cadence, again, of releases has to pick up at some point, but maybe not. Also, Persona series developer Atlas is planning to announce a new game sometime in 2022. Interesting. There's an iOS app called PS5 Controller Trigger Test that allows you to experiment with the DualSense haptics and trigger effects, including adjusting the amplitude and frequency of vibration and resistance when using weapons. If you want to play around with that, it sounds pretty neat. Remedy Entertainment announced a co-financing agreement for global distribution and licensing with Chinese Communist Corporation Tencent for its upcoming free-to-play co-op PvE shooter codenamed Vanguard. Ugh. God bless, guys. Like, you couldn't find anybody else to give you cash for this. I don't know. I hate this shit. Hideo Kojima teased 2 new projects in a year-end message to Japanese publication Famitsu, one big title and another he described as a new challenge. So there we go. That's the first real glimpse of what Kojima is working on. My suspicion is that the big title is a sequel to Death Stranding, when you combine that with the comments of Norman Reedus saying that they're working on a sequel and so on. And the new challenge is, of course, abandoned. Next nugget, website PlayStation Universe reported that the following games received update patches: Tim, Call of Duty Warzone, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Enlisted, Neverwinter, Final Fantasy, and Predator Hunting Grounds. So if you've been waiting on something to be fixed, might want to check those out. Yoshinori Ono, the former Capcom developer who led development of Street Fighter, has joined Sony-owned Delightworks as president and COO. Naughty Dog's multiplayer game director Anthony Newman stated in a recent blog post that, quote, Fortnite is truly inspiring, not just as a multiplayer game, but as a game, period, end quote. That is truly scary. Truly, truly scary. I hope that he doesn't mean that it is a literal inspiration for what they're doing with their game. Surely not, right? I mean, factions in Fortnite couldn't be further apart, but I don't know. Intel chief Pat Gelsinger recently stated that the global chip shortage will continue into 2023. So if you're still trying to get a PS5, you may want to consider just sacking up and paying a little bit more for one on eBay. Doesn't look like any relief is in sight. 2D narrative adventure game Backbone will be getting a sequel sometime in 2022. According to Battlefield data miner Temporal. Battlefield 2042 will not get its first season of post-launch content until March 2022 at the earliest. Elsewhere, insider Tom Henderson revealed that Battlefield 2042 developer Ripple Effect Studio cut earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcano extreme weather events from the game to focus on making the tornadoes that we currently have. I've played some of this. I'm going to talk about it toward the end of the show here, but I have played some of this recently and have some thoughts on this. But it's really unfortunate that we have to wait until March to get the first season of content. It seems like a good while. I mean, heck, that's 6 months after launch. That seems pretty crazy for a multiplayer only game to have to wait that long for its first season of post-launch content. But, we know things aren't all sunshine and rainbows over there for that team. Also, the official PlayStation Instagram account posted a new video for upcoming indie title Little Devil Inside, my beloved Little Devil Inside, which included a winter 2022 release window, meaning the game is at least another year away. Christ. This game is never going to come out. I'm starting to get on that boat with all the Kickstarter people that backed this like in 2015 or 2016. I don't know if this game's ever going to make it. A new trademark was filed by Bandai Namco for classic platformer Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series. GamesBeat's Jeff Grubb reported that Mass Effect 5 will run on Unreal Engine 5 when it releases. Seemed pretty inevitable, but very good news. Narrative exploration game Mythic Ocean will launch on PS4 on January 1st. Website Gematsu reported that developer Mutant Insight, a prominent outsourcing support studio that has worked on the Atelier series as well as Final Fantasy 15 DLC, has begun hiring staff for a, quote, high-end RPG remake for PS5, end quote, according to job listings. I have no idea what it could be, but I'd say Final Fantasy is a pretty good bet. Square Enix has filed a new trademark for the 1990s Crystal Dynamics developed platformer Gex. Arc System Works developed fighting game DNF Duel will launch sometime in the summer on PS4 and PS5. Psychological horror game Phobia Saint Denfa Hotel launches on PS4 and PS5 sometime in 2022. Version 2.4 of Genshin Impact called Fleeting Colors in Flight will launch on January 5th, which may be out by the time you're listening to this podcast. Mecha Strategy RPG Relayer has been delayed to March 24th in Japan, as it will now launch worldwide on that date on both PS4 and PS5. Developer NG Dev announced that shoot-'em-up game Gunvein for PS4 will come to PS4, but no release date was given. Soleil and Valhalla Game Studios, which are both subsidiaries of Wake Up Interactive, have merged as Soleil absorbs Valhalla Game Studios and all of its staff. And finally, Gematsu reported that arcade racer Hot Wheels Unleashed has crossed 1 million copies sold, becoming developer Milestone's fastest-selling title ever. That game is very good by all accounts, so congratulations to them. And that's all for the news this week. And I'll now turn it over to myself to share this week's new game releases with you. On this past couple of weeks, new games, I should say. On December 20th, we got Bard's Gold on PS5, Mia's Christmas on PS4, ZJ the Ball Challenge on PS4. That game's for Travis. On December 21st, we got Darkness Roller Coaster, which is everybody's life right now, on PS4, Lacuna on PS4, RC Airplane Challenge on PS5, Santa's Workshop on PS5 and PS4, Winter Sports Games on PS5, Exposed Reloaded on PS4. December 22nd, we got Gardener's Path on both PS5 and PS4, Horatio Goes Snowboarding on PS4. On December 23rd, we got All I Want for Christmas collection on both PS5 and PS4. On Christmas Eve, we got Christmas Run on PS5 and PS4, Empire of Angels 4 on PS4, Football Cup on PS5 and the 4, Planet Quiz on PS4, Speedway Racing on PS5, and then on December 27th, we got Baseball on PS4. I've seen some stuff on Twitter about this game. It is unreal that is even on the PlayStation Store. Racing, which I'm assuming is by the same developer, on PS4. Lizard Lady versus the Cats Platinum Edition on PS4. The Zippy the Circle Challenge. Zippy the Circle Jerk Challenge on PS4. And then ZJ the Ball Challenge. I already talked about that. What's the deal here? They just messed that up. And then finally on New Year's Eve, we got 0 Degrees on PS5. So that is all of the new releases for the past couple of weeks of bullshit. All that's pretty much bullshit. All right. Let me begin to wrap things up here by discussing what I've been playing for the past couple of weeks and what I'm looking forward to. So I've been on vacation from work for about 10 days now. It's been glorious. I've been playing a lot of video games. I'm dreading going back to work on Monday, but I've been playing a ton. I've been playing some NBA 2K22. Nothing really new to say there. I thought that I was done with it, that I was ready to delete it. I'm going to have to delete it anyway to make room for Horizon and other February games when we get there, but I thought I was done with it. And then yesterday, they released some new cards for the My Team mode, which is like FIFA Ultimate Team, Madden Ultimate Team. And they pulled me back in. So that's how they do it. That's what they want. That's how they get you. Then also played some Battlefield 2042, like I mentioned. And I got to say, that game is really missing something after having taken a couple weeks off from it and gone back to it. It kind of sucks in some ways. Like, at times I have fun with it. And then there's a lot of other times, depending on which weapon I'm using, really, that I'm not having fun with it. And I think I was talking with Travis and some of the guys in a group text, and I think one of the problems with it is the map design. Like, everything's just wide open. There's very few like indoor areas to skirmish in, and it just feels like you're just forever away from everything, including whatever you're shooting at. And I don't know, a couple of the vehicles are just overpowered, and I don't know. I don't recommend buying it right now. Maybe it'll get better as they continue post-launch support, so we'll see. But yeah, it's definitely, I was high on it at first. I don't think it's a terrible game, but it definitely is missing some magic, some special sauce. So I don't recommend it. And then I also played Insurgency Sandstorm. Been playing that a little bit. I love that game, guys. If you're itching for a first-person shooter, that is the game to play. It definitely is more slow-paced than a Call of Duty, a Battlefield. It's a more tactical game, but the game is phenomenal, really phenomenal. And then played some more Death's Door. Decided that I'm done with that game. I've really got to quit this as far as thinking that I can play these difficult, like dungeon crawling, roguelike games, because I just get frustrated with them, and I just can't do that. So it's a fantastic game. Don't get me wrong. The music, everything I've said about the music, the art direction, even the combat is satisfying, but I just don't have the patience for games like that. Speaking of, I tried to go back to Returnal and play it some, see if I could get back into it over the holiday here, and same story with that. I just can't do it. I love the combat of the game. I love the graphics. I love what they've done with the DualSense. I love Housemarque, but I just can't do it. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. So I'm done with that officially, like I am Days Gone. After trying that several times, sometimes there's just games that don't resonate with you, that don't stick, that you bounce off of, and I'm okay with that. Also played Chivalry 2, my beloved Chivalry 2, and that game is just still fantastic. I played that for a while, played several matches of it, and it is one of the best multiplayer experiences that you can have. And if you want something different, you don't want to just shoot people, you want something a little different, something that's going to be fun no matter how good you're doing, going to make you laugh, that's the game. That's my game of the year, my favorite game of 2021, without question. Then I also caved and bought FIFA 22. on sale on the new holiday sale that they're running on the PS Store, and started a career with it, or on it, I should say, managing the Bradford City Bantams in the League Two of English football. My boys did the same thing last year, so I've started that, and it's going well, and I'm enjoying it. It's got good hooks in the gameplay, and so yeah, I'll keep going with that. And then the last thing I have to mention here is I committed sacrilege here for me personally, and I have played some Final Fantasy VII Remake over the last couple of weeks. And I'm someone who does not enjoy or appreciate JRPGs, but yes, I did it. After they announced that they were going to give the PS5 upgrade out for free, I dove in to give it a shot. And I gotta say, it's really a kind of neat game. It's cool. The combat is really fun, and it looks good on the PS5. And it's, even though it's kind of corny and cheesy in Japanese ways, in JRPG ways, the characters are kind of neat and they're realistic or relatable in a way. Like the dialogue is what really kind of struck me. Like the main character, Cloud or whatever, he just kind of like matter of factly like I don't know, I can't think of an example, but something unbelievable would happen, and he would be like, like, give me a break, or like, really, or you gotta be kidding me, or something like that. Like, he would react in the way that I feel like I would react to some of the nonsense. But yeah, I get it. I'm not gonna play it anymore because it's just too much. I understand it's a time sink, and there's just all these systems and everything that intertwine, and I just don't have the time or patience for that right now. Like, I'm really trying to save myself for Horizon Forbidden West in terms of, diving that deep into something. But I get it, and I appreciate it, and I'm glad that I tried it. So, yeah. And that's everything that I've been playing. And as far as a couple of things that I'm looking forward to, I did buy a couple of other games in the PlayStation Store sale, a couple of indie games. Well, not indie games. One's an indie game. I would say they're smaller titles. One is Narita Boy, which is a side-scrolling platformer based in an 80s computer, like arcade kind of thing. I don't know. It looks super cool. You guys should look it up. And there's a video on the PlayStation Store page, and it looks really, really cool. So it was on sale for like $12. I got it. And then I also picked up, because I've been watching The Witcher Season 2 on Netflix, so it's got me in the mood for Witcher stuff. I picked up a game called Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales, which is made by CD Projekt Red. And it's like a card-based battling 2D isometric story RPG, from what I can tell. It's got pretty good reviews online, and I've heard good things about it. And it was on sale for like $6, so I was like, why not? And give it a shot. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying both of those hopefully in the week ahead. And that's it. So it's been glorious. Played a lot, been playing a lot. Wish I could do it all the time. But anyway, that's it for the show this week. Just me, myself, and I. And Travis will be back next week. We'll get back to normal. So hope you guys enjoyed it with just little old me. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. It'll be right there waiting for you on Mondays. And also, if you'd be so kind as to review us or rate us, leave us a like, a thumbs up, a heart, whatever. However your podcast service works, we would be much appreciative of that. Also, more importantly, if you would share us with a friend or a loved one who you think may enjoy a PlayStation podcast like this, or they can get all of the week's news, rumors, and more in less than 90 minutes. Don't forget to hit us up on social media if you want to talk with us. Find us on Twitter at the DualSense Pod, Facebook, Instagram, all the usual there. We'd love to hear from you. With that, I'll get out of here. Hope you guys had a great holiday, a great New Year's celebration, and I hope you have a great week ahead as we head into the very first week of 2022. And take care. We'll talk at you next week. Bye-bye.